Hi, I'm Stacy Salmon. I was shocked, honored, and humbled that the Teaching and Learning Center asked me to be one of their highlighted teachers. As far as my background goes, as far as how I ended up teaching, love teaching. I always wanted to be a teacher. I taught swimming lessons as a high school student, and when I came to Kansas State, ages ago, I was an elementary education major. I thought that's what I wanted to do. I knew I wanted to teach, but that's the area I thought I would go into, and math was my focus. I've come a long way since then. I ended up changing my major to secondary education and speech and theater. And then eventually I went ahead and just got a master's degree in communication studies. And I got my Bachelor of Science in communication studies, and I got my master's degree in the same thing. I think I always knew I was headed towards this age group, this area, this field. And all of my experiences led me towards that. And I'm so very thankful. Uh, I, uh, I love the field of communication studies. I love thinking about and explaining and trying to make all of the concepts in communication studies in the field of communication applicable to my students. Everything from public speaking to professional interviewing, it's all relevant. How we can make our relationships better, how I can do better in interviews, and so on and so forth. So everything that I teach is extremely applicable, and that's the point I want to get across in all of my classes. So what do I teach? I teach a lot of different things. Over the years, I've taught lots and lots of different classes. Some people would call me a generalist because I do teach so many different things. A lot of my career, I've taught public speaking. I really enjoyed that so much. It's a class that nobody really wants to take. People tend to be fairly nervous when they take public speaking, and I was very nervous when I took it myself here at K-State. But I wanted to make students know, or wanted to try to help students understand that it's a class we all need, and it's a class that everybody can do. Just because you're nervous doesn't mean we can't do it. So that's one reason I wanted to try to help students and teach public speaking in when I teach public speaking. Other classes I've taught, like I said, a variety of things. I've taught professional interviewing. I really like that because it's so applicable to students getting jobs. I've taught business and professional speaking as well. Intercultural communications, theories of human communications. I've taught our intro to communications class, and I've even most recently taught a leadership communication class. One class I really love teaching is interpersonal communication, and I love that class. I think a lot of us engage in our interpersonal relationships, and we don't really think that much about the relationships we have, our friendships, our family, our romantic relationships. We're just in them trying to navigate and figure out how to do them the best we can. But if we really take a look at it and study interpersonal communications, it helps to guide us and helps us to have a lot of different tools in our communication tool belt to hopefully do a better job with the relationships that we have and we engage in on an everyday, regular basis. Family issues, issues with significant others, issues with your teachers, issues at work, so on and so forth. And so again, that's one class I really enjoy teaching. And again, that's very applicable as well. So as far as my teaching philosophy goes, I consider myself to be very much a facilitator. I don't have all the answers for everything in the field of communication studies, but I feel like myself, I'm a good navigator. I can navigate our way through the course according to the definition of a facilitator. It's a person or thing that makes an action or process easy or easier. And I really do feel like that's what I try to do. Help people understand the concepts and how the concepts apply directly to their lives and how they can use those concepts all the time. So in my classes, many of my assignments, if not all of them, and assignments, activities, are geared around students applying the concepts to their own lives, whether it be in papers and the guidelines for the papers that they write or in-class activities that they do. We directly apply all the concepts to their lives, their experiences, and so on. I also feel like in my classes, so not only do I feel like I'm a facilitator, I really very much want to have a sense of community in my classes. It's extremely important for me to know my students and have them know I care about them. One way I do this is I learn their names. It's very important for me to learn their names right away. Within the first couple of weeks, I really want to try to have everybody's names down. I want them to feel like I want to be there, and I know who they are. I like getting to know my students, knowing what activities they're involved in, where they're from, what their major is, and what they want to do with their major. That's always so enjoyable for me. So I feel like my classes are more like conversations than lectures. That's my goal anyway. I also want them to feel like they belong there. They belong in my classroom and they have a place there. And for a little while, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or Tuesday, Thursday, whatever that time slot might be, it's a place where they can come and be themselves and talk about their lives as it relates to the subject matter we're talking about, you know, in a broad sense, how humans interact and how we can do it and do it well. I'm very lucky to be able to do what I do. I am Stacy Salmon, and I teach at K-State.